Welcome to another edition of the Postgame Wrap. I'm Jarret Johnson, and boy, it was a tough game for the Red Raiders in Fort Worth against Houston. It was a top 20 matchup. I think highly anticipated by both fan bases, but in the end, the Cougars won 64-53, and they never trailed the game. They dominated, especially early. They led 37-19 at the half. Now, Texas Tech would fight back. It is, after all, coached by Chris Beard. I think the mistake Houston made was trying to get a little scrappy, or there was some, shenanigans. I wouldn't say dirty, but borderline dirty. And I think that's a big mistake with any Chris Beard coach team at Texas Tech. They are street dogs, as he likes to call them, and they responded. They cut the lead to 5 within the last 5 minutes or so, but in the end, Houston will make another run and put the game away. What's the odd thing? This is the oddest stat to me, is that the Cougars went over 12 minutes without scoring from the field, but still won by double digits. And it's certainly not a case where you'd say Houston, got the better shake from the referees. I mean, Tech had definitely received some breaks from the refs. I don't think you could necessarily say that Tech got shafted and that's why Houston was able to win. They just made their free throws, and honestly Tech didn't. That was one of the biggest differences. The Red Raiders finished they didn't shoot from anywhere, whether free throw line, 3-point, from the paint, whatever you want to call it. Tech did not shoot well Sunday night in Fort Worth. They finished 13 for 24 from the line. I mean, that's going to get you beat 52%, 54.2%. That's going to get you beat almost every night against even just a decent team, and certainly against a team such as Houston. Red Raiders also shot just 4 of 18 from 3, which is 22.2%. Mac McClung, Kyler Edwards, and Terrence Shannon were a combined 2 of 14 from behind the arc. McClung was 0 for 6. Ouch. I mean, he did make a lot of free throws. He was Tech's leading scorer, but 0 for 6 is tough. A tough pill to swallow. McClung was definitely off tonight from behind the arc, and I think Houston's defense on their length really bothered him, to be quite honest. And then just from the floor, Tech was under 40%. Anytime you shoot under 40% from the floor, it's a poor night. And maybe that's to be expected against Houston, but again, 13 of 24 from the free throw line is going to get you beat. And then throw in there that Tech turned the ball over 18 times, including 6 times by Marcus Santos-Silva, who had his first poor game. He was averaging a double-double after 2 games going into the matchup against Houston. And I'm not saying that we should expect this, but at least against Houston, he had a really tough time. 4 points, 5 rebounds, 6 turnovers. He had a steal, an assist, a block. But he had problems on defense. He had problems, obviously, on offense with all the turnovers. Maybe this was a bad matchup for him. Houston's a really good team. I want to give them credit for not only giving Santos Silva problems, but just for getting the win. I fully expect them to be, a tournament team that can make a run this year, absolutely. But I feel like overall, look, Texas Tech, Houston bothered them, but they could have played much better. They missed some open shots. Obviously, the free throw attempts are open shots. The turnovers, there were some really bad turnovers. There were some times where the players were just staying around. Once Houston really took away, and what they did was they trapped, a lot of times if it was McClung on the pick and roll game, they had no answer. McClung wasn't able to get it to anybody who could do anything. And they were able to rotate once McClung was able to gather himself and try and find somebody. So, there's definitely some questions for the Red Raiders after this one. But I want to say this. This was a measuring stick for both teams. And needless to say, if you're a Houston fan, you feel like, hey, man, we're really good. We're as good as we hoped we were. And Tech, you're going to take a step back and, look at everything like, what problems do we have? Maybe perhaps we're not as good as we thought we were. And that's all fair. I do want to say, though, this is one game. This is early. Texas Tech has another measuring stick game coming up with St. John's coming to the USA as part of the Big East Big 12 Challenge. That's a 8 p.m. Central Time tip-off at the USA. I believe that game is going to be it's on the ESPN Family Networks as well. I don't know if it's on ESPN or ESPN2 yet, but it should be on TV on one of the Disney channels. I just I don't want to overreact. I feel like if you're a fan, absolutely overreact. I think it's your fandom. Do what you will. But for me, in looking at it, Tech still has some good pieces. Kevin McCullough, who I argued before the season, you could say was the best player on the team. He certainly was the best player on the team late last year. So that's you're missing a starter there. I think he would help. Would he have been the difference tonight against Houston? I'm not ready to say that. I'm just saying they don't have the full team yet. One bad performance does not make a season. It's basketball. You're going to have that. One game you could look like world beaters. Next game you look like bums. Tonight, in a lot of ways, I'm going to be honest, they look like bums. But them coming back and making it a game the way they did, fighting back, shows in the end they're not bums. They're talented. They have some really good pieces. Micah Peavy was a bright spot. I think he had a good game overall. He did foul out, but at times, Houston didn't have an answer for him. And some of that was they were giving him opportunities off of McClung. But still, Peavy attacked. He was aggressive, and he's as good as I think we thought he would be going into the season. He needs to work on his free throws for sure, just like the rest of the team. That's to me, I think Beard's going to have them run and be running a lot and shooting a lot of free throws between now and that Thursday night matchup against St. John's. So I still think there's a lot to like on this team, and that's just my opinion. I still think this is a team that can do a lot of things, but this was a big old piece of humble pie served to them in Fort Worth. So, but like I said, Houston's a good team. They're going to have games like this. I'm glad they are playing games like this against Houston and St. John's, quality teams before they start Big 12 play, which, I mean, let's just face it, that's coming up. I think December 17th against Kansas, so get it on. But I'm looking forward to, the next game, the next step, to see what Tech's going to do against St. John's, how they respond. Knowing most Coach Beard teams, I think they're going to play very well. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.